Like and subscribe in the next 5 seconds, or this will be in your bed tonight. What is the most effective psychological trick you use? I work in an office. When people stop by my desk and refuse to leave me alone, I will get up and refill my water bottle while they are talking to me. Instead of walking back to my desk, I walk them to theirs. They instinctively will sit down. Then I just sever the convo and get back to work. Edit. Holy shit, this blew up. Thanks for the gold and silver kind internet peoples. This is actually brilliant. I have a few chatty co-workers who station themselves by my desk way past their welcome. I'll definitely have to try this out. Be sure to have spare water bottles to refill in case the one you use is already full. My youngest, 4, got into the Y phase a little while back. Read an article that said the best way to get them to stop was to ask them, "I'm not sure. What do you think?" It is a godsend. They answer their own question. You provide some feedback, sounds good to me, and they immediately move on. Fucking awesome. My friend responded to her toddler's 7th question in an extreme but why chain with "well, why not?" in a really happy voice. Her son looked completely mind blown and stopped asking. I keep trying to use this with my niece. Her response is always "why yes?" and I just don't know. Good question, kid. To avoid workplace drama and be well liked is to just compliment people behind their back. I would never say this to her face, but she's a wonderful person and a gifted artist. This was simultaneously one of the nicest and weirdest things Michael did on the show. I currently manage around 240 people between 6 restaurants. It is often hard to get them to do what is needed. I have found saying "I need your help" is sufficient to get them on board. People want to feel needed and like they are making a difference. Expressing to them as much makes all the difference in the world. I use this with my toddler, too. It works well. Yep, like if I'm clearing the dishwasher and my toddler is running around, throwing things into it while I work, I'll give him one of his plates, bowls, or utensils and ask him to put it away for me. He will happily do it, even if he sees I don't have anything to give him. He'll take a stack of his bowls and hands them to me so I can give them back one by one as he puts them away. Kids are stupid, but adorable a lot of the time. Edit. He also helped me with raking the leaves last year. He didn't use a rake, but our water fountain net to pick them up and shovel them into the can. Even though he makes chores a little tougher, I'm proud of him. Listening to someone without giving advice or pushing for more information typically nets me more information than being pushy for it. If you want to hear what someone has to say, just let them speak. If they stop, just wait. They will continue speaking and adding to what they were saying to fill the silence. I've done this a lot. Aha. I work as a creative director. I have a lot of great clients. Unfortunately, with a few shitty managers from their side. They usually go with the mantra of "if it's not my idea, it's not a good idea." I end up, sometimes, telling them about something Google, Tesla, Amazon, Samsung, etc. is doing, and how we could try it. They jump at these ideas. The ideas are actually mine or my team's. Works like a charm. Use this sparingly. Using it as an easy escape is not a good idea. It works, but know when to use it. If you use it all the time, it won't make you look any better. It will also allow people to be promoted who aren't capable of doing the job. Pointed out by Rootfoot. Thank you. Good luck everyone. Edit. Added on last paragraph. Disclaimer. Edit. Thank you for the silvers and gold. First time. I am unsure of protocol. Much of my old jobs involved tricking my managers into thinking the best option was their idea all along. It's great for getting things done, but horrible when it comes time to compensate you appropriately for all you bring to the team. Much of my old jobs involved tricking my managers. Managing your leadership is a very significant part of every job I've ever had. Michael Scott is an exaggeration, but not by as much as he should be. In the real world, however, it tends to run less well-meaning doofus and more petulant child. When I'm doing backcountry hiking patrol in a wilderness area, I'm supposed to keep an eye out for people with dogs, which are not allowed. The ranger taught me to ask any dog walkers, "Are you looking for somewhere to walk your dog?" That gives them the chance to pretend they didn't know about the rule. Signs posted, of course, so they don't lose face. Then I give them a brochure with dog-friendly trails. It's a brilliantly non-confrontational technique. and I use it in other parts of my life. Edit. Many people are asking why no dogs. It has to do with this park being designated wilderness, which is very different from national, state, local, county parks. Wilderness designation FAQs. List of reasons from park literature. Another edit. Thank you for the silver. Kind eye. I'm happy my suggestion was interesting and or helpful. I've found that strategy works pretty well in several situations. When someone does something obviously wrong, you mentally construct the least negative reason they might have done that. For example, that they disobeyed the no dogs sign because they just didn't see sign, and give them the chance to take that explanation. I appreciate you giving me a ride to the middle of the desert as a thank you for testifying at your nephew's trial, but you seem to have accidentally hog-tied me and thrown me into the trunk of your car instead of allowing me to sit in one of the seats. This is a fascinating exercise program, but I am concerned about the impact digging this 6-foot deep hole might have on the desert ecology. Perhaps we could go to a gym instead? Oh no. When your gun went off I think you lost some of your bullets in my torso. Can you drive me to the hospital so I can ask a surgeon to remove them for you? In an argument find something to agree on then push your main point. When you realize this, it's like a superpower. Oh, you like Black Mirror? So do I. It's like a modern, tragic Twilight Zone. I know, right? Well fuck you and your loud ass feet walking around upstairs. What are you practicing for a marching band? I recently read that saying you're right instead of I know makes you look less like a nerd and doesn't diminish something someone else may have just found out. I think it's pretty effective at not letting you look like a total ass. Edit. Row. Inbox boom. Thanks for all the replies. I'll try to answer a few of them if necessary. Don't be sad if I don't answer. I still like you. I love you. You're right. See you in chemistry. If you need to remember something, think about it while doing something noticeably unusual. This will pair the memory with the something, so that when it is noticed later on it will trigger that particular memory. For example, I need to take out the garbage before going to bed. Put your pillow at the foot of your bed. Shit, this is a good idea. I'm gonna go put all my forks in the pantry so I remember to use it. Where the fuck are all my forks? If you hand something to someone they will take it. It's a lot of fun. Edit. My first eye silver. Thanks. They're less likely to take it if it's obviously trash sauce. I hand people things very often. You have to distract them by asking a question or engaging them in conversation. Then hand it to them when it's out of their sight. If you need to de-escalate someone and get them to communicate, asking questions about numbers, personal information. I work in emergency services. If someone is totally distraught and shut down, asking their phone number / address SSN birth date can pull them out of the emotional place and bring them back to a headspace where they can talk about what happened more easily. I often ask these questions even after I have the information just to de-escalate. I have a tendency to give outdated information in a stressful emergency. When asked my kid's birth date I've given my own. When asked my name I'll say my maiden name from 16 years ago. When asked my phone number I'll recite my childhood home line. Don't know what's with that. Brain freezes and regresses, I guess. When somebody shy is speaking, if you look at them and nod your head it encourages them to keep talking. I'm hard of hearing. I've spent a lot of my life nodding at my family to show I've heard and understood so they don't ask did you hear that. I do it at work, especially in meetings. I get a lot of attention from the speaker as I look like the only person actively listening. Instead of asking do you have any questions, I ask what questions do you have? The first almost always results in silence, and the second lets people feel comfortable to ask questions. Edit. Thanks for the silver, kind stranger. I always feel bad when I get it the first time and people ask me if I have questions and end up complimenting their explaining skills so they don't think I'm just tired of talking to them. This is a good opportunity for a back brief where you summarize what they said in your own words, demonstrates comprehension and allows them to correct any deficiencies or misconception. My wife calls this the simplest, most manipulative thing I do. Whenever I bump into an acquaintance, meaning not friend, just a person I know, I of course say hi and the conversation goes like this. Me. Hey, how are you? Name. You look good. Them. Laugh. Thank you. I'm good, how are you? Me. I'm great. I'm on the way to wherever I am going to at the time and I tell them why too. So what are you doing here? Them. Go into same detail to tell me where they're going and why. Me. Alright. Well, I won't keep you up any longer than I have. Have a good day. Name. It leaves people feeling good. Takes away the awkwardness of cutting a convo short and it makes them want to leave. If only my memory would autofill the name field. In a bar. Hey, I'm on the way to the bathroom to take a massive dump. The chili fries were brutal. What are you doing here? Playing dumb gets you out of a lot, but not too dumb. Never go full retard. I think it's too late for me. Anyone here reading through the posts for the sake of using them in the future, but an hour later you forget everything you've just read? Put all your forks in your pantry while reading a good advice. A few of my favorites. If you look happy to see someone every time you see them, they will eventually be happy to see you. Be nice, even to mean people. It's kinda fun to see someone initially angry soften when you don't mind given to anger. Don't insult people. Tell them how you wish they'd behave. For example, someone is obviously rude. Just say you really like when they are nice to you. They can't really call you out on it and possibly make them realize their behavior. Ask big knowing it will be dismissed. Then ask for the thing you really want. There's a real term for it. Open door technique or something. It's actually door in the face technique. Thanks everyone. I use a few more and will try to edit later. Edit 1. Wow, this blew up. First and foremost, thanks for the gold. I'll try to be as coherent as possible since I'm a bit high on pain meds for a toothache. To answer to a lot of people having concerns with sounding passive aggressive. I agree. It can sound like that, so the tip here is to be genuine. You can be a little over the top but not too much. It comes with experience, I guess. I work in healthcare, RRT, so I have to use my social skills a lot. I'll add a few more as promised. Do not verbally attack people. Say how you feel. People can get defensive when attacked, but no one can deny how you feel in a confrontation. Stay calm. Be gentle and focus on the problem, not the person. Unless the person is the problem, in this case feel free to dispose of them. If you have to make a critic to someone, try to sandwich it between two positive facts about them in this order: positive, negative, positive. They tend to be received better this way. Want to trick people into liking you? Ask them for a favor. Even the smallest ones, like, can you hold my pen for a second? This tricks the brain, as they will think, I am doing a favor to this person so I must like them, otherwise I wouldn't. That's all for now. Have a great day, you amazing animals. My grandpa asked for an airplane, knowing my grandma would not be okay with it. He was a lifelong pilot and they had smaller aircraft when my mom was a teenager. What the crafty dude really wanted was a motorcycle. She said yes because it wasn't as expensive as a plane. Sneaky. I thought you were setting up a joke with your first sentence. I work with a bunch of idiot lawyers and I use the phrase "you're correct" all the time, even if it's one teeny tiny thing they're correct about. It makes them feel smart and they instantly soften. It also keeps them listening because they're hoping more flattery will come down the pike. Evil cackle. I speak at conferences all over the world, and a lot of the speakers use this in their Q&A. If there's a particularly hard question to answer, they always start with "what a great question," etc. Generally speaking, the asker is so pleased that their question got praised by the speaker in front of all those people that they are less critical of and pay less attention to the actual answer. At least at scientific conferences, "what a great question" is usually followed with "I don't know the answer to this question specifically, but based on what I know I can speculate that." It helps that not knowing things is the foundation of science to begin with, but it's still nice to sort of distract from that point. Thanking someone for a tray you want from them. Instead of telling a customer you're sorry for their wait, tell them "thank you for your patience" or "understanding." Works wonders. When sending late assignments, I would always write "thank you for your patience" at the end. I have to work with kids a lot, having a summertime job where I volunteer to assist counselors at a camp for service hours and having 5 younger siblings. Don't tell them not to do something. If I told you, "don't think about unicorns," you'll immediately think about unicorns for the split second I say it. If I instead said, "think about turtles," You'll think about turtles for at least that split second I said it. Don't tell a kid not to something. Rather tell them to do something else. Instead of don't hit your sister, say, let's play a nice game with your sister. That way you don't put the idea into their mind that you don't want them doing it, which, in their childish manner, fuels the fire to do it more. Similarly, kids needs to brush their teeth and get their pajamas on. Option A, come and brush your teeth. No, I'm playing. Option B, come and get your pajamas on. No, I'm playing. Option C, do you want to brush your teeth first, or put your pajamas on? Pajamas works on adults too. Sadly does not work on my 3-year-old. She just says no thanks, maybe later and walks off. I can't remember. My wife's a psychologist and I lost all my superpowers of manipulation of time and space. That must be fucking exhausting at times. Hi baby, how are you? Interesting that you'd ask that question. How are you doing? My ex's best friend was a shrink. Man, I always felt so violated when she was around. Like she was digging into my brain. Instead of arguing, I start off by agreeing and then state my point of view after addressing the other person's point. Always ends in a positive interaction. Edit. The idea is to show respect for what the other person thinks, assuming that the person isn't a complete moron. They more than likely have a valid point. Rather than shutting the person down and telling them they're wrong, you listen to them. Then after hearing them out, you can bring up your own point of view. The goal is to have a respectful exchange of opinions rather than a flat out argument where two people flat out don't agree with each other and leave each other without learning anything from one another. Can you give an example? I am just curious how you transition from each phase. Edit. Thanks for the silver. I have an example from earlier in my day in a cab. The driver was listening to the news, and the president's name comes up. Cab driver. I like Dutat. They say there are a lot of deaths, but I think it's working to stop drugs addicts from continuing their habits. And he's done so much since getting elected. Me. Well, yep, nothing like the fear of death to stop someone from doing drugs, right? And we can't discount all the good things he's done. Only thing I don't like is my points why I disagree with Dutat go here. Cab driver. Yep, I see your point. In a discussion like this, if you immediately go into your counterpoints, it's easy for the person you talk to be defensive. So agreeing with them makes them easier to talk to. Plus, don't say it's okay when someone apologizes. Say something like, thank you for apologizing. If someone needs to apologize to you, then it was something that isn't okay. My mom teaches this to her kindergartners and it really does make a difference. Opens doors for growth and conversation too. Thank you for apologizing. I don't like it when you hit me, or whatever. Edit. This blew up. I'm almost 23 but tempted to watch Daniel Tiger, mostly because he was the only puppet from the land of make-believe that didn't scare me. And thank you for the silver. Row. I also taught my daughter that you don't just say sorry and it's over. Daniel Tiger has a song about saying sorry as the first step, and we say that all the time. First, you say you're sorry, then you ask how can I help you feel better? It helps the child take responsibility for making someone else feel bad, and acknowledges that just saying sorry often doesn't fix the problem they caused. Your reply, thank you for saying sorry, goes really well with, it would make me feel better if you gave me my toy back. Be direct and personal when you need things. Instead of asking if anyone has an EpiPen, ask WHO has an EpiPen. Instead of saying someone call 911, point to someone, say you in the blue jacket, what's your name? Tom. Okay Tom, go call 911 and come tell me when they are in the way. I did a first aid course recently and that's actually something they teach you. You can't leave a task up to a crowd. You have to single someone out for shit to get done. I remember learning that back in high school, cause otherwise the bystander effect kicks in and people just assume someone else will step up and be the one to help. Music. Putting headphones in and playing the music that I know I'd want to hear if I was in the mood that I want to be in shifts me over to that mentally, and really helps when I need to calm down or when I need to feel happier. I feel like this is the audio version of dressing for what you want. I get into my gym clothes even when I feel sluggish, because it will put me in the mood to work out, or I'll put on work clothes even when I'm working at home because I'll be more productive or more professional on the phone. than if I were wearing pajamas. I do a similar thing. I wear a condom under my clothes and I'll be damned if I don't disappoint a lot of people. When I ask someone a question and their first response is what, I just stare at them for a few seconds, and 99% of the time they answer my question without me having to repeat myself. I think it's just a subconscious reflex people have to ask what, instead of answering what you've asked even when they've heard you clearly. I think that for a second you don't understand something or the whole phrase, so you ask what, but then your brain processes it and you instantly understand what was said, so you reply. It happens all the time. 50% of the time I answer a question with what, and then while they are repeating the question I am answering it. IDK if this is an actual thing or not, or maybe just distractions. But when I do something annoying or bothersome to my husband and he goes quiet, I wait a few minutes and then I ask him a seemingly innocent question, usually on the subject of how certain parts of a car works, or something mechanical. This gets him talking about the car thing and he rambles for like 5 minutes and then bam, he's happy again and not quietly brooding. I'll never tell him I do that because I'm afraid it won't work anymore if he knows about it. It's foolproof though. It works every single time, no matter how bothered he is. A girl I like does this to me. I know exactly what she's doing and I fall for it every time. My wife does this when we get into an argument with one another over something dumb. I know exactly what is going on, but I'm glad for it. It's her way of saying it's stupid for us to stay mad about this. Let's move on. So I play my part and we put the argument behind us instead of having to be huffy over nothing. Think of my future self. How will my future self feel in an hour or two if I skip my gym session? Will my future self be happy if I do this pile of dishes now, before bed, or would he prefer to have to do it in the morning, before work? I have a 3-month deadline on this project. Will my future self appreciate my current self taking the first 3 or 4 weeks easy? Or will he be really pissed off? Essentially delayed gratification. Pretty much all the bad stuff gives us instant gratification, while all the good stuff has delayed gratification. I always try to remember that. If I have to wait to reap the rewards, then it's probably the best option. My past self likes to put chapsticks where she thinks I'll need them by the bedside, in a sweater pocket, in the car console, in my work bag, and I find her completely adorable. Whenever I know somebody is holding some truth from me, I'll look at them and stay silent. No nodding, no acknowledging, just looking. The silence usually brings out the truth or extra detail. If they squirm around a bit, you know there's something they have exaggerated, etc. People in business and especially reporters call this aggressive listening. It's also a sales tactic known as the pregnant pause. Let the other party fill the conversational gap. They'll usually give you more information than they want to simply to avoid the silence. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more interviews.